Jimmy Butler is not getting younger, and I'm not breaking any news with anybody out there, but just look at what you're seeing. This is what I tell people a lot. You know, Bill and I talk about this all the time. Not enough people actually watch the games. They might read an article in the internet. They might hear a radio host or something, and that radio host may not have even watched the game himself or TV or whatever, and they just watch some highlights. You're not If you watch the games and you watch Jimmy Butler, you know he's all go 100%, but his body, you can tell that this is all catching up to him now. And so something's going on with Jimmy that eventually you're going to have him less and less available as this contract goes on. And this is why I get it. I was called a hater and all this stuff because, I'm always willing to say what most people aren't willing to say in the media. You fans out there will say it. But again, you're not in the media and you're not sitting at these tables where you have access to these people and to ask them this. But a lot of people in the media are afraid to bring things up, right? Like, when we questioned Bobrovsky, when we questioned Dale Talon and all this other stuff, when we question anything that goes on, even with the Heat, with Pat Riley and whatever he signs. I told you guys when they signed Jimmy Butler that this deal means nothing unless you add another star in the next 2 years. Well, they failed to add that other star this year. Here's my point. Next year, you add another year on Jimmy Butler. That star you get needs to be a superstar. It cannot be another all-star. That's not going to be enough. Jimmy Butler is not a closer by any stretch whatsoever. Jimmy Butler is not a consistent scorer. And he's not the guy that you want to give him volume shots because then he doesn't become efficient. What I admire the hell out of Jimmy and what he's done this year is because, I know he said last night something along the lines of, I haven't been helping this team win. That's bullcrap, dude. You help this team win, bro. Jimmy does help this team win. His assisting, he helps on defense, his steals, his rebounds, his scoring is not. That's what I'm talking about. But he's been an excellent player for the Heat in all the other aspects. And obviously leadership in the locker room. The fact that he, can help these young guys improve and give them confidence and help them, I think it's immense. So I'm not taking anything away from Jimmy in that sense. You have to compartmentalize my comments here. Okay? Jimmy cannot be your lead guy. He can be a complimentary lead guy. Maybe a 3 is probably what he is on a really good team. But put it this way. What I just said about the Sixers, that Tobias Harris struggles to be a consistent 3, Jimmy Butler was the guy they needed at 3 on that team. You understand? For a championship run like they wanted to make, they shouldn't have signed Tobias. They should have signed, actually, Jimmy Butler. And the balance would have been great because now you've got the two better players in Simmons and Embiid, and you've got Jimmy feeding their egos and helping them along the way because then there's less pressure on him to score. And on this team, there is less pressure for him to score throughout the game because of Duncan Robinson, because of Dragon, because of Adebayo. I don't need to tell you guys. You watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. But at the end of the games, when you got to take control, it's not Jimmy's thing. He's going to be able to hit a shot for you every once in a while, but he's not that guy. And so the pressure now gets even bigger on Pat to get that star next year. Because let me, again, explain. By 2021, when they have the money, Jimmy Butler is a 3, slightly a number 4 now on your team. Okay? If we've got the rest of this season, all of next year, and then you got to play the entire 2021 season by the time you get to the playoffs. Okay, Jimmy Butler's body, he's no longer a 2 for you at that point. You're paying him like a number 1, but he's not even a 1 or a 2. You understand what I'm saying? He's not Timmy or Zoe. He's not Shaq or Wade. He's not Bosh, LeBron, or Wade. Do you understand? When I we can go through the different types of teams that you've had in the past. He doesn't equal any of those number twos. So this is where it's a twofold type of thing. You guys can focus all you want on this year. I think big picture because this year's nothing. They weren't going to win a championship anyways. They're not getting to the Eastern Conference Finals with this kind of team. So now you have to think about big picture, where are they going? How do they overcome all of this? And who's the star that they can actually acquire to really elevate? Because you need that star. Adebayo becomes two, and Jimmy becomes the third. It's what you need, believe it or not. And that's going to be imperative because obviously Adebayo has already taken that step this year. If he can add another element to his game next year, like the outside shot, especially a three, and the way that he's handling the ball and facilitating and rebounding and blocking shots and steals, Adebayo can be your star. But he can't be your lead scoring star because he's not there to close. So you need that number one. All that money that they're saving is for that number one that can close out games. And then that number one gets Adebayo involved. And then Jimmy Butler is your third to sixth option in a final shot. But he's one of your top defenders, facilitators, team players, those kind of things. And he has been so accepting of that role. And I think he also understands what he is. And that's why he has become more of a team player. Again, I love what Jimmy has done. He's done something that I didn't even think he was going to do. I thought he was going to come here to kind of prove a point, which I didn't think he can prove that point, and that's what I was afraid of. But I told you guys from the get-go that if they don't get that second star, they're toast. Absolute toast in this league. There is no way that they are going to get to a point where we all want to see the Miami Heat become NBA champions. So that's the interesting part about all of this. And remember, the free agent class and everything that goes on this offseason is not good. It's weak. So the question is, can Pat Riley actually find a disgruntled star, Beal, for Washington, or somebody along those lines? It has to be Bradley Beal, even better. Now, Bradley could easily become the number one here because he can do some of the things at the end of games that, quite frankly, Jimmy Butler can't do. Quite frankly, nobody can do. But they're going to want to unload that John Wall contract on you. And Miami's not going to have the cap space, and they're going to have to give up all kinds of stuff, and it just becomes a mess. So that one's going to be tough to make happen for the Bradley Beal move. I know that this offseason he signed the extension, he said all the right things, but they went out and had another Washington Wizards type season. So everything changes the following year with all these guys. The mood changes. All of this stuff never stays status quo. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting to see how Miami kind of shifts gears here and tries to overcome all of this stuff.